AI for beginners doesn't have to be confusing. If you can give me the next 10 to 15 minutes, you'll go from zero knowledge on how to do any kind of AI prompt to writing useful prompts that actually work and help you. Here are the items that you're going to need. They're very basic and they're very simple. You're going to need a Chat GPT account. You can even use the free version. You don't have to have the paid version. The other thing you're going to need is internet. That's it. We can do everything else from there. So here's what you're going to see when you log in. This is going to be the interface, except up here, it's probably going to say login or sign up. I just happen to be logged into my account because I already have a Chat GPT account. But when you make an account, it will not say login or sign up, and you'll see these little buttons up here. On the left-hand side, you're going to see open the sidebar, which looks like this. It stores all your other chats. But for the sake of this, you're going to see the new chat icon right here, the search chats, so you can reference back things you've already covered with ChatGPT, and then the library. This is like your image library. If you've created images or saved things, they'll be stored here. So if you're in the middle of a chat here and you need to start over, all you do is click new chat. We're not going to do that because we're already in one, but you would just new chat and then it will save the current chat you're in right down here. Now, before we even get started with anything else, there are a couple of items that may look a little bit different for you than me because I do have the paid version. But if you click this plus button, these are the things I can see. If any of these things would be useful or helpful for you, just know this is on the paid version. I'm not exactly sure what you see on the free version. I actually have the $200 a month one because I use ChatGPT all the time. And I actually find the benefit in it based on what I do with it. But as a beginner, I would definitely not recommend that. If anything, the $20 version, but I wouldn't even use or do that until you've used ChatGPT enough to where you're hitting your daily limits or your chat limits because there are limitations in there. I wouldn't even get to that point of spending $20 until you're like, I have to have this. But for me, I see things like add photos and files, deep research, create image, agent mode, use connectors, and then down in more, I have even more options with all of these items like study and learn is a big one. I have three kids, all three daughters or girls, and we use study and learn a lot. I have one in high school, one in middle school, and one in elementary school about every 5 years. So study and learn is a very helpful tool, but that's not the point of this video. I'll show that at a later video. You then can come up here as well to turn on a temporary chat. If you were to talk to it about something that you don't want stored over here in the sidebar, and it's just going to be a temporary item, you would click this and it would not save this or archive this chat. Keep this in mind. I just feel like I have to say it. Don't talk about anything illegal with ChatGPT. There are news articles everywhere. ChatGPT will give your chat history to the courts if it's requested. And this is not temporary, does not mean invisible. So back to the matter at hand. So this would be where you would type in your very first prompt, if you will, or whatever you're looking to get. If you use ChatGPT how my wife uses ChatGPT, she would type in right here, what are the best vegetables to grow in the fall? She would use it as a search engine. That's not really the point of ChatGPT, even though it will give her the answer she's looking for. She just doesn't use it how it was built to be used. So, an example would be something like this. Explain what a PDF is in simple terms. You also could Google this. However, let's just run it for this example. So that would be just a query, something that you put in there and it gives you the answer. But if you were to write it just a little bit different, you're going to get a completely different output. Let me show you. So if you were to type in explain PDFs in simple terms for a middle school student, keep it under 5 sentences and use an example she will understand, I'm going to get a different output than what it gave me here. So let me show you what that looks like. PDF is like taking a picture of a paper so it always looks the same on every computer, phone, or tablet. If your teacher sends homework as a Word file, it might look different on your computer, but if it's a PDF, it looks exactly like how the teacher made it. So it just makes it, I gave it a little bit more restriction of what I needed it to do, and then it custom fit to that. So you can already start to see the more you craft your conversations with ChatGPT to what you need versus basic, explain to me what a PDF is or which vegetables grow in the fall. That works for my wife. However, what if you say, what vegetables grow in the fall? I live in Minnesota. That's going to be different than what vegetables grow in the fall. I live in California. You're going to get different outputs based on the information you give it and the more context you provide it. So now is what we're going to cover is what I call the 5-piece prompt formula. There are 5 things or items in every prompt that you create in ChatGPT to get the most out of it that is going to give you the highest quality results that is going to be better than something like what vegetables grow in the fall. So the very first thing that you need to do is give ChatGPT or whatever AI model you're using a role. Who should the AI be? How do you want it to interact with you? When you say what vegetables grow in the fall, are you talking to someone who specializes in gardening? Are you talking to a grandma? What role or function do you want it to take on? I'm actually going to use something that is more relatable to anybody who needs to get research done. I'm not going to say you are a gardener because that's not really who I want this thing to take on as its role. I want it to be a research analyst. So, step one of the 5-piece format is I'm telling AI, whatever model I'm using, how I want it to act. This is the role I want you to act in. That's step one. Step two is the goal. What do I need? So I've given it the role. What in that role, what do I want it to provide to me? What is my need from this? The goal is going to be I'm trying to figure out which vegetables grow best in the fall. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. So I don't need to give it a whole bunch of items here. I have one goal only. What can I grow in the fall? So step three of the 5-piece format is the inputs. I need to give it a little bit of context, data, links, or examples. So here's the context I'm going to give it. I have always struggled to grow vegetables in the fall, primarily due to weather. I live in Minnesota where the weather can be challenging and temperatures are hard to control. I do not have a greenhouse or anything to protect from the elements. That's the context, the meat and potatoes of what I'm giving it. That's a potato joke on the vegetables. And well, never mind. So we're 3 out of 5 right now. If I were to use this role, goal, and input, I would get better information out of ChatGPT or my AI model versus just saying what vegetables grow in the fall. So, step four of the 5-step formula is constraints: the tone, the length, the format, the audience. You don't really, for the example we're doing here, there's not really much to do except for our constraints is say, we're just going to say, I don't have a lot of knowledge on this, so speak to me in easy to understand language so I don't get confused. When you're conversing with people in the real world, talking to somebody who has been a gardener or has their own garden for 30 years is a lot different than talking to someone like me who's never gardened or done anything in my entire life related to that. I'm not going to have the level of understanding. So the constraint I'm giving it is basically talk to me like I know nothing. That also is a very good constraint. I use that a lot. If there's a new subject that I'm working with AI on and I don't know something, I literally tell it, I have zero knowledge on this. So speak to me like I'm a child. And it will. Step five, and the final step is the deliverable. How do you want the AI model to give you the content? Do you want it in a table format? Do you just want bullet points? Do you want it in run on sentences? You can tell it whatever you want, however you would like to digest the information. This is the deliverables or the output section. So I'm just going to say, give me this information in bullet point formats so it's easy to read and track. That way, if I want to print it out and just run a line through it, I can. It's easy for me to follow that, so that's what I'm going to go with. Now, is what we just did is we built a prompt. This is how you should do it. The 5 stages of a prompt in the formula are role, goal, inputs, constraints, and deliverables or output, whatever you want to call it. Those 5 key components make up a prompt. So now let's come back into ChatGPT and let's do a new chat. I want to show you the difference here in the output that we're going to get. So let's just take it like how my wife would talk to ChatGPT. So we're going to use it like a search engine. What vegetables can I grow in the fall? We're just doing this as an example. This is what you're going to get an output. In fall, you can grow cool seasonal vegetables that handle shorter days and cooler nights. So it gives you this rundown here, but it doesn't know where I am. It doesn't know anything about what we just built. So this is the output we get here. So keep this in mind. Let's one more time go to new chat. Let's go back over to our Word document that we have, and let's just simply copy what we did here. We'll take this back into Chat GPT, and now let's paste in what we did in Word. We're not changing anything. We're not adjusting anything. We just copy and pasted what we already did. Then let's send this through and see what our output is. Here's a clear list tailored to growing fall vegetables in Minnesota without a greenhouse. Best vegetables for fall in Minnesota. Why these work, planting tips, extra tricks. So the prompt we gave it dialed into our area, things that we can do to help. Everything here is positive and is a better output than what we got by using Chat GPT as a search engine. So now you can do this five-piece formula with anything, and you should. You don't have to, but you should. It's how you're going to get the best output from any AI model you're using, and you will be so much better off if you just take the 30 seconds when you're moving and you know exactly what you're going for, and these systems start to fall where you remember these five pieces: role, goal, inputs, constraints, deliverables. Those are the five. If you at least do two of the five, do four of the five, it doesn't matter. Anything that you can do of those five will significantly increase your output, but the more the better. And if you can complete all five of these, you're going to be way better off than just using ChatGPT or any AI model like a search engine. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure you share it with anybody who you think may also find it helpful. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.